Of stuff I use. Today I'm going to talk about my Blendtec blender. Will it blend? Old school YouTubers remember that. I'm not putting my phone in my blender. Anybody can talk about a brand new product, but I've had mine for 3 years and it's been used almost daily, so let's talk about that. We bought the thing to make baby food in, and it worked for that, but making baby food's kind of a pain in the ass. What it generally gets used for is making smoothies, something we do almost every morning. The typical smoothie for me is 1 banana, handful of blueberries, like maybe 8 strawberries, and a handful of spinach with some water, and you blend it up and there you go. It's really good. I didn't do that for the demonstration though because I hadn't gone to the grocery store yet, so you get an all-fruit smoothie. My wife bought an accessory jar that's supposed to be for sauces or something, and she thought it might be better for baby food. We don't use it much. It doesn't hold a lot and it doesn't seal as well at the top. This is what a 3-year-old Blendtec blender looks like. The unit itself is held up fantastically. The motor is super strong. I can't imagine what you would do if you get that thing and use it for other purposes. The electronics have held up fine. We've stuck all kinds of stuff in there and we've never had it, trip the breaker. What hasn't held up so well is the jar. This is our 3rd jar. What happens? The bearing on the moving part fails and then the blade becomes just loose in there and wiggles around. Comparing the old one to a practically new one that we've hardly used, you can see there's oil or lubricant or something that's escaped down here. You can also see where it's built up on the sides of the plastics under here. Thankfully, nothing really comes out in this side of the jar until it gives out entirely. You can tell when that happens because the machine will make a completely different noise than normal and your stuff won't blend. Blendtec has been really cool about giving us a new jar each time when we're out, and this one I think is still under warranty if it goes. Let's make a smoothie, shall we? I'm gonna start with some yogurt, and I never really measure anything. I just kind of stick it in there. Let's give 1 scoop. I would normally put spinach in this, but I'm out of spinach. Let's put some frozen blueberries in there. I like blueberries. Screw it. Let's empty the package. I don't want those blueberries to be lonely. Let's mix it up with some strawberries too. Got to throw a little bit of water in there just to get things moving. For smoothies, I hit the whole juice button, which has a series of speeds that seems to break through the frozen stuff really well. And now for everybody's favorite part, making it sound like a wood chipper. That's something that happens to me every now and again, and that's just simply because I hadn't put enough water in. What happens when you don't put enough water in is all this stuff freezes right here and won't fall down into the blades. I really should have used hot water. Well, welcome to my life. As you see there, all you got to do to shut it off is hit any button and it'll stop. And there we go. Almost spilled it. The Blendtec was a big investment for a kitchen appliance, and I wasn't really for it. My wife pushed for the purchase. But I've got to say, we don't regret it. Just keep in mind that caveat that sometimes the jar wears out. By the way, Blendtec gave us some advice for keeping that jar in tip-top shape, like don't put it in the dishwasher. Don't let the jar soak in water, especially hot water. That means you gotta clean it immediately after you use it. Can't be lazy. And apparently it's good for you to spin the blades manually with your fingers before you put it together to use it. Before you put it together. Before you plug it in. Is it better than a Vitamix? I don't know. I'm not buying another $400 blender to find out. I don't know that the Blendtec is for everyone, but if you like to make daily smoothies like we do, or maybe you like to make daily daiquiris or margaritas, then you should consider the Blendtec. It's definitely going to crush ice and frozen stuff better than the cheap blenders, and it'll last longer. Silly me, while editing I realized I forgot to close out the video. If you like this, please thumbs up and subscribe, and maybe some suggestions down in the comments below. Like say maybe the Blue Yeti that I used to use for podcast, or maybe one of my various Canon lenses, or maybe my Bose headphones. My wife's actually got the AT50s, which are way better than that. Maybe even my mini Marshall amp. Little mini tour of the office. I got Homer Simpson's car. I've got this Colombian train, some old Matchbox cars. When's the last time you saw those in the package? stuff I use. Today I'm going to talk about my Blendtec blender. Will it blend? Old school YouTubers remember that. I'm not putting my phone in my blender. Anybody can talk about a brand new product, but I've had mine for 3 years and it's been used almost daily, so let's talk about that. We bought the thing to make baby food in, and it worked for that, but making baby food's kind of a pain in the ass. What it generally gets used for is making smoothies, something we do almost every morning. The typical smoothie for me